Lords of Thieves, we will do fine there. Jake might get pissed off.
I want to use my garage on this lady.
Well, I mean, she's gonna have big guards. I mean, she's got fucking 2 huge mercenary cruisers.
Yep. Yeah, she
She get the money.
yeah, she put a wrinkle in everything.
Well, how about that? NASA and DARPA are finally getting into nuclear rockets.
Yeah, I saw that.
I remember experience of that back when I was barely out of high school.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've only known how to do it since the 50s.
Yeah.
Man, I've got to seriously think that the human technological level is leaps and bounds above what we think it is. I just don't think we have access to the information on who really has the cool toys.
Well, that's more than likely true. But I mean, a lot of the space technology and where we should be and what we should have been doing got flushed down the toilet thanks to Richard Nixon wanting to push the space shuttle program.
Well, you know, I got to think that we really did put nukes in space. I mean, I'm just with the fucking Cold War. I mean, I don't give a fuck what we told Russia. You know what I mean? We've had stealth technologies for quite some time. It's got to be easier to stealth in space than it is in the Earth's atmosphere.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, and so I'm like, you know, we've got a stealth satellite that can drop some fucking serious hate down on anybody. I bet it's fucking EMP shielded. I'm just saying. I mean, I've known, you know, some people with some real inside lines on technologies that were just in the 80s, and the shit we could pull off in the 80s was actually way better than what we think as common folk that we could pull off. So I mean, you know, our military vessels are way more powerful than they tell us about.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Hello, Carrie. Hello, Victor.
Yum. Corn dog. And a kitty cat who thinks she wants corn dogs. Yes, you. I'm talking about you. Is she feeling better this week?
Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, I went up to the family reunion this last weekend, and man, the fire smoke killed my allergies. like really bad allergy attacks, so I've been kind of not feeling 100%, but just keep dosing myself with antihistamines. Which, kind of makes me feel like a zombie Walking Dead, but I'm upright, so. But I got my book done, finally.
That's awesome.
Yes, so just waiting approval process from the printers, and then I have to order the proof copy, and once that gets here, then it can go up for sale. So. Hello, Cameron. Hello, Devin.
Hello.
All right. Welcome to the Pirates of Drinax. We will be picking up where we left off last week. These guys, they have Prince Harrick aboard. Princess Rao is no longer with us. The traitor's bitch that she is. But
Did she let her body blow up in the ship?
No, well, yeah. I mean, technically, she could just be missing permanently. But they came back to Drinax to discover that in their absence, the sabotage of King Oleb's grav belts was all orchestrated by Lady Hil. And in their absence, she has placed herself on the throne as the new Empress of Sindal, using her familial lineage as a rallying point to justify her seat on the throne. And the last thing that they got was a communication that she is demanding that they dock at the royal docks of the floating palace. And we will continue from there. But before we get started, we would like to thank a friend of the Greenwater Guildhall. None of these are sponsorships or partnerships of any kind. They are just products that we really, really like. Tonight, we would like to thank Dogmight Games. Dogmight Games makes beautiful wooden tabletop accessories for your games, such as wooden DM screens, dice trays, dice vaults, dice towers. They have this really cool thing called the Player Vault that you should definitely check out. And all of it can be customized. If you order something that's customized, it will usually take about 6 to 8 weeks from time of purchase to get shipped to you. But if you are in a hurry, they usually have items in stock on their inventory. So check out their in-store or their on-site inventory, and usually those items will ship in 1 to 2 business days. If you are interested, we have a 10% discount code, good for everything on their site. Just go ahead and put what you would like to order into your cart, and at time of checkout, use the code FRIEND in all capital letters, and that will net you 10% off your total purchase. If you are a fan of our Braunhaven campaign on Saturdays, there is a Christmas in July sale going on Drive-Thru RPG right now. Everything's currently on sale, so definitely go check it out. There is the Braunhaven, if you're just getting into it and you're looking for the PDFs, a good way to really start that off is with the Braunhaven Adventure Bundle. It includes the Braunhaven campaign setting and the adventures, the thing in the basement, the light in the church, the Nobleman's Manor, and the ruins of Castle Braun. And that buying it that way saves you a couple dollars over buying each individual PDF by itself. Or if you are interested, the main books are all available, with the exception of like 2. They're all available print on demand, and all of that stuff's on sale. So definitely go check it out. Speaking of that, if you're a fan of the channel, we do have a merch store via Zazzle. If you go to the merch store, you can see that we have t-shirts, including the Pirates of Drinax pirate logo t-shirt created by Cameron. And the 100% of the proceeds from that channel or from that store go back directly into the channel. There's a fleece blanket on there. We've got a beer stein. There's buttons, So yeah, if you want to help support the channel, go get yourself a T-shirt or some buttons or a beer stein, and we appreciate everything you do for us.
I should buy a coffee stein.
Yeah, I in fact I used mine this morning, and it makes an excellent. That beer stein makes an excellent coffee mug, and it's like it's about 2 cups of coffee, so it's a good size.
And if y'all buy 1 million of them, we will sing and dance in
Yeah.
celebration on the channel. That's all we're doing. Just a quick song and dance. Can't even tell you it'll be good.
Wes will start an
But-
OnlyFans account.
Fuck yeah, I will. Tassels, glitter, all of it.
Can we sing
Yeah.
Yellow Submarine?
Yeah.
Y'all don't remember that, do you?
The Yellow Submarine, are you talking about the movie? The Beatles movie?
No, the song.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
the movie was based on a song.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Or how
With
about
the Blue
Sgt.
Meanies?
Pepper's Lonely Arts Club Band?
Yeah. Fuck them blue meanies.
stoners.
Yeah.
On Friday night, I learned from somebody on the Friday night game that you're supposed to do lifting weights while you play, so I'm lifting weights.
All right.
So I don't know if you guys saw the news today about the congressional hearing on UFOs, more or less stating that yes, aliens are real, we have them.
Yeah.
And I think I find it really funny because people on the internet are acting like this is a new. The idea that there's a congressional hearing, that the government is acknowledging that this is a new thing. It is not. They did the same thing. What was it, 1996? 97? Somewhere in there. They had a congressional hearing on UFOs. And you know what came out of it? Fuck all. Nothing.
Wow.
Absolutely
I do
nothing.
think that
More
You know,
came out of Blue Book than got out of those
when
meetings.
I die, I want to be reincarnated as an alien.
Mm.
I'm gonna probe the fuck out of all y'all. Just saying.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
coming. Yeah. So when you hear about my
I'm still
service,
gonna
you
be
need to
alive
go
by
ahead
then.
and
I'm gonna be
yeah.
203.
Thank you for the warning.
Oh, I'm all about friendly service reminders.
So,
I guess that left turn there. Whatever.
so you guys are still, you're not at the edge of the system, but you're, probably a good, I haven't even looked at the distance, but I would say you're probably a good day from Drinax. You just had come out of jump and you had received this message. These two these things here. These 2,000-ton Aslan cruisers and the the Rasputin have not they've set up almost what appears to be a blockade of the system, but they haven't moved in your direction. However, a couple of system defense boats have. Let me find my system defense boat, because there's a couple of different ones, and I have to decide which one it is. Let's see here. 193, I believe.
We need to decide if we want to go dock and deal with this shit.
So there are two 400-ton system defense boats that are heading in your direction. They are armed with 2 particle barbettes. They have a small missile bay, and a point. They've got Type 2 point defense laser batteries. They are heading in your direction. They are. Well, let's see. They've got thrust 7. They're not moving at thrust 7. They're moving at thrust 3. So they're not being overly aggressive, but they are, and I find that, I can't believe I'm about to say this because I find this always hilarious in sci-fi. They're moving in a flanking maneuver, which doesn't mean a whole lot because you're in space and there is no real up and down. And if you want back to be front, you just flip it. But whatever. Well, that would be the general consensus, that they're attempting to come in at a flank towards you. So they're not coming in overly hot or aggressive, but Qing Shi would know that this is a maneuver essentially wanting to guide you into port. The prince, and actually, this is the...
So what did they demand when we got in the system? I don't remember from last week.
They just demanded that you are ordered to dock with the royal docks on the royal docks of the floating palace. Now,
we have
they
a
say
little
anything
bit of
about the
time
price?
to plan amongst ourselves, right?
Yeah,
I
I'd like to have a conversation before we just get all flanked and.
So Prince Harrick is on the bridge with y'all, and let's see. So this bridge is seem a little odd. So if you see this narrow column here, this is Qing Shi's command chair. It is over the main bridge. So the rest of you are all sitting down here. And it's probably not. I mean, this looks like it's a lot taller than it really is. I don't think it is. I think it's just...
She has her own bedroom.
Yeah.
Probably just a raised platform.
Yeah, it's just a raised platform. It's a typical Sindal. The bridge of the Harrier is almost exactly the same. Sindalian design, the commander or the captain of the ship is always on a raised platform above the bridge, kind of showing their superiority over everybody else, I guess. And so Prince Harrick is down here in the bridge with the rest of you, and he says he says we cannot dock with the floating palace, not until we can show up with a suitable force.
What kind of suitable force do you think I'm going to be able to muster that's going to take on 3 fucking huge-ass ships and defense boats?
He says, well...
Do you have this large source of money hidden somewhere that we can go pick up?
He says, no, but I do have credit.
Okay.
He says, we need 3 things. I need money, I need allies, and I need weapons. He says, now my credit can buy allies and weapons, but sooner or later I'm going to need the money in order to back that credit up. And with the current situation having happened so quickly, it is unlikely that the rest of the systems surrounding in the Trojan Reach are unaware of the current strife, because, I mean, this classifies as a civil war. He says, so if we can act fast, he says, what I would like you to do, and you should have enough fuel for 1 jump, we need to jump back to a seam immediately and get the fuck out of here.
Or we can dock and we can pretend that this is awesome. We can disguise Harrick as a Marine and leave him on the ship. We can say, this is great. The prince and princess are gone, and we have you to lead, and then we can get closer and knock her off.
Or perhaps we could take Harrick on the Anubis and split the party, so to speak, and get Harrick the fuck out of here. And meanwhile, the Osiris docks in, says, okay, I mean, if we really play it right before these boats come up on us, they won't even know the Anubis is around, you know? I mean, it's just kind of docked. We can it's a stealthy ship. I mean, we're still kind of far out. We could sneak off. If we jump and just leave like this dude says, it's an act of war, and we'll have to fight the Rasputin.
Well,
and the other two ships. I mean, in order to override her, if
you
we're going to
guys
side,
go ahead and discuss this for a minute. I'll be right back.
who do we want to side with?
I have another idea. What if we take General Rax and use him as leverage to try to get power over the Rasputin? He used to be their commander.
We could do that.
We could try to take over the Rasputin using General Rax as our leader.
Do
She
we
can
know who's
teleport.
currently in command there?
We don't know. It's
Because with two Aslan whatchamacallit,
yeah. She's
it could
replaced.
be a completely non-floating palace crew on a fancy pants boat, which would be it'd be worth investigating for sure. Like if it's the original crew, then maybe there's a chance for that plan. But if the whole crew's been pulled and it's now crewed by Aslan, then that won't be quite as much of a strategy.
I would be surprised if the Rasputin is being crewed by Aslan. I mean, but it could be. That's a possibility I hadn't thought of.
Why don't we go beat pirate lords? Why don't we say, fuck this, go, cool, we'll jump, fuck it, and let's go be a pirate lord and let all this Sindalian shit kind of even itself out in the turmoil, and we can set the prince go. I mean, our obligation was to King Oleb, who has obviously been taken out of the picture. And I mean, we do have other endeavors we could go do, and we could let some of this shit just kind of settle itself out and loop back around, as they like to say.
How many of us have pilot, out of curiosity, at some level? I know we've got crewbot. I have pilot. You have pilot. We've got Point and Jacob's pilot.
We got an NPC pilot.
And an MP, yeah, and the crewbot.
I'm a 0 and I'm a small boat at 1.
So, I'm thinking about large craft because, as they say in pirate lore, if you strike the colors, like if we jump and head to our base and strike the colors, each one of us could go on one of the ships in your fleet and pilot and go back with, 5 ships.
Yeah. I have pilot 1.
Right.
Pilot spacecraft 1. So, we've got a lot of pilots amongst our group.
Right. Well, and that's what I'm thinking is like our best chance would be, to run around and earn enough money to pimp out the ships that we've got and then call the banners, collect the fleet, and go take it en masse.
We could call in our favors to all of the places that we've rescued as well.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, though, is in the grand scheme of things, Drinax and Asim is a bullshit location with bullshit planets. And I mean, I'm just saying, we're not really we're not fighting over prime real estate here. There are far better places that we could go try to, do our thing. The only reason we were here is because they gave us a ship, and we've paid that back,
They have technology.
Yeah.
So she hired a bunch of people to be her people, right? Because
That's
no one's really that loyal to her, and she's only been in charge for like 10 minutes. If she gets bumped off, I think it's fucking over at that point. That's really my opinion. So I just think if we just play along long enough to knife her in the back, then it's over. Because it's not like they're going to be like, oh no, Lady Hill, you were the best. I'll die for you. I'll avenge you. Who gives a shit? Nobody liked her.
In the meantime, we could send the Anubis off to try to do something else because bringing Harrick to the floating palace would be suicide for him.
But that's
I agree.
I thought.
We can, but I mean, there's a lot of people that know of his existence on the ship. And we don't know where the real scion is that's been seizing control of Qingxi. I mean, we're now leading hints that maybe the current empress had that. Perhaps we don't want to bring Qingxi on board the palace either, or at least not what if she wears a null helmet or something like that to defend herself. Perhaps, but I mean,
weren't we the main source of money?
We were one of the main sources of money, and we've got a lot of money, and we've got some cool boats, and we've got 2 more Harriers just sitting, ready to pick up at Tech World. No, not Tech World, at Thieve.
Yeah, that's right.
So I mean, I'd really like to go to Thieve in the near future and check on. I mean, those are ungodly investments and powerful tools.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah. But
3 Harriers in a ship and a
3 stealth Harriers being able to sneak around can do a lot to take this fleet and thin it out, and do something like that.
It would take a while to get to Thieves, though.
Yeah, it would. But we can go ahead. We can go try to sneak on and assassinate that bitch. I'm a stealthy, crafty bastard. So is fucking Keith. We could go on a covert side, try to sneak around thing and see if we can pull an assassination, and everybody else just go on and walk in there and talk and play the role, and
but
then we could.
If she jumps and she's gonna know something's up though. So this is
well, when you shoot the king, you don't fucking miss. That's. Yeah. I mean, this is putting everything on the fucking table and daring somebody to chop our nuts off. I mean, we're either going to go ahead and stay, whole, or this breaks. We roll new characters if we fail. If we try this taking the Empress out on this boat.
I do think there's a perfectly reasonable way to get us into, like, let's say the Empress's throne room, because our letter of marque came from Oleb. And you would have to have a conversation of, are you going to, does that agreement extend now that someone else is in charge? Because,
well, I mean,
like
she thinks she owns Captain Beth.
Well, and right, but then with funding if she decided to recall the letter of marque that we have that theoretically protected us in some small amount as pirates, I feel like it would be perfectly natural if we want to sneak in, or not sneak, if we want to go to the palace and have audience with her and very few others, using we need to make sure that our letter of marque is still secure, is something you wouldn't want discussed publicly.
Yeah.
So there'd be a limited number of other people in the room, and it's a perfectly rational reason to go speak to her in the first place.
Doesn't somebody have a chameleon battle dress?
Oh, I mean, I have disguise netting and chameleon battle dress. I mean, I've purchased stealth toys. The thing is, if we go and do the presentation and go through the pomp and circumstance of a meeting, is that you're going to be forced to be relatively unarmed, or you're not going to gain access to the Empress. Whereas people trying to do covert, stealthy assassination, knock the queen off type thing, we can go fully armed with all our bells and whistles.
You think I'm taking my battle dress off just for Empress?
So right, that's the thing.
So Prince Harrick, and going back to Captain Beth's original idea, I don't know where you landed on. He says, being the prince, he has obviously one of the most recognizable faces, in 3 systems, at least Drinax, Asim, and any of those outlying systems in the Drinax chain. Everybody's going to recognize him.
Or we could lock him somewhere in the ship or whatever. I don't think it seems like most people are not going for my idea. But
well, he says he says I can see where you're going with this, but he says I'm not willing to risk it, because if I am discovered, the first thing that Hil will do is kill me.
Well, I think
because I am a threat. I'm a threat to her being on the throne.
How about this? How about we stick Prince on the Anubis with an NPC crowd or a player or two, whatever. It stealths off to the back end of the system with the Prince on it. Meanwhile, we have Shenanigans go pick the Prince up and take the Prince to Jägersil, where he's got friendly, relative people that we've got agreements with, that he can hole up there. It's on the other side of the fucking place. Shenanigans would be happy to go explore and pick up the stuff. It gets our backup ship the fuck up out of this area while we're doing our dirt stuff. And then we go ahead and dock with the palace and either go for the pomp and circumstance. I like the idea of trying to kill the Empress.
Well, he says that the likelihood is, though, that because you guys of what you have done for Oleb and for Rao, it is likely that your heads will be on the chopping block as well.
Yeah.
But we're besties.
Yeah. I mean, you know. But
there's a chance that she's like a better ruler than Harrick, too. Just throwing it out there. There's a chance she would be like a better ruler for us, even though we hate her.
That's why I don't think we should have this conversation with Harrick sitting here, because if we want to talk about spacing Harrick, that's not really something we can do in his face. You know what I mean? And that is an option too, because that gets him off the ship and the problem's solved. You know, if his cybernetics are really as advanced as they claim, he'll be okay.
We can betray him, I suppose.
So
we could put him in prison.
The third,
we could say, here's Prince Harrick, and then that would get our heads off the chopping block, wouldn't it?
Well, the third thing that he brings up is that he says, and he points out about the two 1,000-ton Aslan cruisers, and he says the reality is that we don't know what those mercenaries came in with, but if they're from the Glorious Empire, they are probably have the Marines on those ships are going to be heavily armed, probably matching your battle dress, and your plasma weaponry.
I think that Prince is definitely trying to talk us into going and thing. I think we as a crew, you know, we should each just take a second and say who you want to support or what direction would you just like to go. Do you want to be loyal to Harrick? Do you want to check out what the Empress is talking about and give her a thing? Do you want to say fuck them both and just go do our own thing? I mean, you know, because I mean we're kind of bouncing around on what we're doing, but I mean we haven't even decided of an end game, and that should be, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Let's vote for independence or Harrick or
the Empress,
or potentially the Empress.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I guess the main split is: are we going to give a fuck about Drinax, or just be like, you know what, this place is more trouble than it's worth?
See, that's a lot of my vote is that's what I'll say let's say fuck Drinax, go be pirate lords and make our own way.
Well, and all of the planets that sort of pledged fealty over the last however many years, it's not because Drinax was great, it's because we were working on Drinax's behalf.
That's correct.
So perhaps we can generate fealty to us in those planets and easily transfer those pledges of fealty to us because they were made to us in the first place.
Let's go on a shit-talking tour where we tell everyone that they've hired Glorious Empire.
We were so wrong. We're so glad we saved the day and that you guys promised to be friends. but man, Drinax sucks, and here's our card.
Yeah.
So the fealty that the one thing that has to be remembered is that the fealty that those planets have basically pledged a verbal support to, or in one manner or another, have been either blackmailed into joining or just conned into joining, because the reality is that the card that you played was the fake treaty.
Mm.
And
Not all the cases. Like the one with the revolution against Judecco, that was because we helped them out.
right,
Yeah, that's true.
but
And
for the most
because
part,
we've shared technology and because we've helped them achieve their goals on their planet.
for the
more
most
than
part, though, most of those worlds are teetering on or wanting to join because they believe that the false treaty is real, and if they are thinking that because of this false treaty that the Aslan Heritate's going to come in and wipe everybody out, and the only way to survive that is by joining with Drinax.
/ joining us.
Yeah,
Because the Aslan are at the Drinax
Yep,
palace.
it's a shame that the Aslan.
The idea that Drinax is going to protect them from the Aslan is false. It's
Yep.
that we are going to protect them.
Yep, we will bring peace to the sector, subsector, all of it. We're gonna do it.
Because
We've got
fake treaty or real treaty, there are Aslan carriers at the palace, and they're not there as unfriendlies. So
Well, those
regardless of what
those Aslan cruisers aren't from the Herite, though. They're from the Glorious Empire.
Okay, so that Drinax
slavers.
is now getting into bed with any Aslan at all.
Right.
It's clearly that the kingdom is not going to protect them.
Yeah, the
So we
Herite.
go on a publicity tour, and now we've got planets under our belt.
Yeah, the Herite and the Glorious Empire are technically at war with one another. The Aslan Herite basically has decided that the Glorious Empire, which is really only one clan, the Glorious Empire are essentially heretics, and they have maintained their slaving ways, and basically they are very, very old Aslan traditionalists. And so those two are at odds with one another, which their primary source of income is basically selling mercenary services. So
Steve is our best.
Well, and that's exactly what Herrick was just about to say. Herrick said Herrick wants to tell you that his father placed his hopes in you. And he says at the time most of it that Herrick didn't agree with, because let's face it, his father in a lot of ways sent you out either with not all of the information, or he sent you out on wild goose chases, such as the treasure of Sindal, that ended up being just a bunch of nuclear weapons and bioweapons. But he says he trusted you to do it, and you did it to the best of your ability. And he says, I may not have agreed with what my father was doing, but you showed loyalty. And he says, what my plan is that I will take my personal yacht to Thieves. I will hire mercenaries from Thieves, not the Glorious Empire. I will probably head to Yggdrasil and get the backing of the Golden Queen. And while I am doing that, I have a key to give you to another vault. Now, my father was going to have you go to this vault because my father, of course, thinks everything that from the Sindalian Empire is going to be, every one of these vaults and caches is going to be filled with nothing but riches and gold and platinum. I don't necessarily know that that's true, But there's something of value in there, and we know that it hasn't been opened because I have the key. It can't be opened any other way. So there's something in there that's worth having.
That's pretty enticing.
Yeah. God. I mean, why can't we just if he's going to Thieves or whatever, then we can all go to Thieves together, because we would like to really go to Thieves. And then maybe from Thieves, can we talk about this key or whatever?
Well, we have to go to Asim first, because he needs to get the key. The key is at the Dragon Fortress on Asim.
Oh, you've been traded there. You've been backstabbed there, buddy. I'm just saying. The lady you left in charge of that fort has already sold you out.
No, she wouldn't. No, she wouldn't. That's Rax's daughter. And Rax is an ardent support. Rax is on your ship right now. He is an ardent supporter of Harrick.
Okay, let's go get the key. That's my vote. What do you guys say?
We need
cool
to
with
get her
Captain. If we're gonna do that, we can go do that. I personally, again,
I mean, you guys
I don't give a fuck about this key or the treasure in there. We can go get the resources we currently have. We don't really need another vault or something. And I mean, we can obtain things quite readily on our own without having keys done to it. Every one time one of these fucking royal fucks send us on a fucking mission, we get fucking reamed, and we never get what the fuck we're told we were gonna get. And at some point in time, we've got to say, man, you motherfuckers don't keep your end. You always send us on these bullshit missions, and we're worth more than that because we're badass.
I think he's also got all that credit. I say we go to Thieves and then drop him off there. He can get where he needs on his line of credit. He can get where he needs to go, and all of that stuff from that hub. And since is it Captain Beth who's one of the pirate lords?
Yeah,
yes,
that's correct.
So I'm sure that with the pirate lorddom, if you say this guy's not supposed to be messed with while he's on Thieves, that'll afford him a certain amount of protection for him to go about his own business.
right.
So I say we go to Thieves. You let people know that he is, not to be harmed while on Thieves. We go do our thing, and he uses that big fat line of credit to go get the vault contents himself.
But what is our thing? Like, do we have something cooler to do than go look in the vault?
Go get our Harrier and
Bloody
go
shit.
take over ships and
I want to know
actually.
what's in the vault.
If you want to know what's in the vault, man, you're the captain, and I'm gonna have fun no matter what we do. I lean towards saying fuck them and their fake fucking carrot and the stick bullshit. But if you haven't learned yet, Captain, fuck it, let's chase the carrot.
I'll do something else if there's a cooler mission. But it seems like what we can do right now.
We've got our names that are supposedly being cleared even without this marquee. We've got that deal going. Fuck, you're a queen on one planet, and it's Pirate Lord. I mean, it's just my opinion. The Pirate Lord status is your biggest play. That's your highest rank. As far as power is concerned, this Drinax stuff is falling apart. We're at the bottom of the barrel again. The Drinax stuff.
I think we could fix the problem with Drinax. I think it's fixable, and I don't think it's going to be as bad as it sounds. But my opinion is that we should start with the vault, and also at the same time start sending some couriers to go collect some favors from some of the places that have sworn fealty to us to try to help us with the Civil War.
Do we have a third key vote to go get the key? Third person to vote to go get the key? Anybody? I'll do it. Fuck it. I mean, because no one else really seems to be voicing strong opinions about really caring either way. And you know, God, I guess the dungeon master took the time to fucking put a key in the damn game. We'll go turn it. Fuck it. I'm fine with that. It is
really a sandbox. I mean, you guys can go your own direction.
I feel you, but does anybody object to go key hunting?
All right, but if we turn that key and there's nothing in it, someone's getting locked in.
And we're going to thieve and be pirate lords and rule the fucking area with fucking rain. We're going to make people pay for testing our
pirate blood.
Yeah.
That's right.
So yeah, that's it to the universe out there. If you fuck us on this deal, we're fucking killing everybody.
Yeah.
Put all those planets in the afterburners.
Yeah.
Glass.
All those innocents you're gonna kill for not letting us make fucking the big pay. Of course, you know, once we do make payday, what the fuck are we gonna do with it? You know what I mean?
We could make fantasy real nice.
We could.
Yes. Or the world.
Finally go to the world.
The world, yes. We'll liberate the world. That's right. We have to. Okay, if we get a payday, that's what we're doing. We're installing a window on the world.
I'm trying to imagine. You know, I've been watching Silo, so now I'm kind of imagining the world is kind of like Silo. It's like, oh, you fucked up. We're gonna have to send you outside to clean.
Watch your spoilers with that, because all I am right now is the sheriff done got the fucking hard drive, and the reaction squad showed the fuck up, and they're like, "Where the fuck is she?"
Right? Yeah. No, I finished the season, so yeah. No, I won't spoil it for you.
The books, you know, it's like 20 books.
Yeah. Well,
but it's not that many TV shows. So is that what we're doing? We're going to get the key, and we're gonna try this.
Yeah, why not? We'll help out Harrick again.
I wouldn't mind going and
we have to at least get the prince out of here. We owe him that much.
I wouldn't mind going and destroying the Ogman Raider fucking empire.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that sounds good. Yeah. Don't worry. There's stuff coming for that too. But I got there. Yeah. You know, Pirates of Drinax. There's plates spinning on top of plates, spinning on top of plates, while juggling with your feet. So you guys jump. You swing it around and jump using your last bit of fuel for a jump one, and jump back to a seam. And you know, the Prince Harrick thanks you for trusting him, and he promises you, unlike his father, he promises you that whether or not there's something in that vault that is going to be valuable, and there almost certainly is stuff of value in there. He says whether or not it's something that is going to make us rich or not, you will all be covered. I will get you. So the first thing.
Get me what? 100 million credits?
No, but I mean, I know that Ting is already has a knighthood, but and he's just going to go down the line here. So the first thing is that all of you are going to receive a Drinax Sindalian knighthood. First, and you are what is it? Knights of the Star Dragon.
Yeah. Is it possible to get shenanigans moved, or is that just a lockdown right now?
Well, it is currently locked down and docked with the floating palace, so it is stuck for the meantime. I mean, you could order the AI to blast its way out of port.
That seems unwise.
Well, let's not jump the gun.
With 3 cruisers,
evidently we're trying to come back and take it all. I mean, we're following the Drinax storyline to try to take this back with the prince. I mean, that seems to be kind of what we're trying to set up here. So I mean, we get it back on that path probably. It's a cool ship.
So yeah, you all receive initially for right now. You all receive a knighthood, so you can all raise your social score by 1.
Does a 14 give a +3 yet?
No, it is still a +2.
Well, that's disappointing.
So I get a what's the dice moderator for a social of 4?
It's still -1.
You're working your way up. Don't worry.
Yeah, you're slowly working your way up. He says that in addition to that, of course, should we be able to pull this off, then you will all be given bigger titles, and probably baronies and things of that manner. But right now, he is essentially, he said the way he feels about this is that he feels that he wants to treat you the way his father should have treated you a long time ago. You are really his inner circle. And he is going to reward you for that, which he believes that his father should have done initially. So you can expect baronies, and, you don't have, he's like, well, you don't have to worry about marrying my sister anymore. So there's that. But you will receive baronies and Duke of such and such, or Duchess of such and such. So that's coming for you. And like he said, he is going to treat you as his inner circle. He's like, as far as I'm concerned right now, with only the addition of Rax and Rax's daughter, and of course Scholar Voha, he says, you're my court. You are my trusted advisors.
Aw, that's so cute.
So
It's great you have them on board too.
Well, that in and of itself can actually be quite a bit of power. I mean, if you look all over medieval Europe, people did all sorts of shit to get into the good graces and into the court so that they could not necessarily be king, but next to the king. If you have the king's ear, that's almost as good as sitting on the throne yourself. France is a great Renaissance France is a really good example of that.
How locked is this guy into being a monarchy?
Well, he hasn't.
I mean, isn't it about time that the people have a fucking say in how they live?
Well, and that's part of his plan. I mean, yes, he's going to be king, but he's not going to rule it like his father did. He's not going to rule it the way that Rao was going to do it, and he's not going to rule it like the ancient Sindalian emperors. Instead, he is known as the Gardener of Worlds.
I do like the idea of building.
Well, here's
some sort of parliament.
I'm sorry, what?
We could be the House of Lords.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, here's a good example. Take Paul. So Paul and Hilfer both, and actually Porn, they at one point kind of, and this was before his father's time, before his grandfather's time, but these three worlds pissed off the king of Drinax. This, of course, was after the fall of the Sindalian Empire. And Drinax responded as a Sindalian Empire would. They nuked the shit out of those 3 planets. And now, if you look, Porn has a tech level of 7, tech level of 10. Hilfer has a tech level of 6, and Paul has a tech level of 6. He says his plan would be to open up the Scholars Tower on the floating palace and give the technology and the means for Porn, Hilfer, and Paul to match the tech level 15 capabilities of Drinax. There's no reason for these worlds to have been locked into a technological ice age. There's no reason for that. He says, you bring up wanting to deal with Ogma. That's a perfect example too. Ogma, yes, is at tech level 9. Why? Because Judecca went in. What if there was no need for technological barbarism? What if the clans of Ogma didn't have to be barbarians? What if we just gave them the technology, screwed over Judecca, get general development out of here? We bring the technology level of Ogma up to tech level 15 and bring them into the Empire as well. And we didn't have to fire a shot. We didn't have to shoot at anybody.
What's the tech level of Assam?
So this is his plan. So you talk about giving the people their due. This is what he wants to do. He wants everybody to have a better life.
Well, that really sucks that he agrees with me.
I really wanted him to be a dick.
really want to kill this guy. But, God. Yeah, I guess, all right, fuck it. Get the key. That's what we're doing. Yay.
So you're...
So what's the tech level of Assam? Asylum or Asim or...
Asim, yeah.
So Asim, again, has a tech level of 6. And Asim's another great example. And this was actually under his father's reign, but it was really Prince Harrick that gave the order. But Asim was basically conquered by Drinax when Drinax had the blight in their gardens. They couldn't feed their people, and the foundation of Asim basically told them to kick rocks. And so Prince Harrick led a assault on Asim and basically took over the world. And they left the Foundation in charge, but as puppet rulers. Now the Foundation...
Oh, is the Foundation some kind of Luddites?
The Foundation is a bunch of con artists. So the Foundation that is ruling Asim claims that they have some psycho-historical knowledge that the Third Imperium is going to fall, and in 1,000 years, Asim will be the capital of a new Fourth Imperium. That's what the Foundation has told the people of Asim. And
so do these people have 87 tech level 7 equipment yet?
They have some imported stuff, but the general tech level of that world is 6. It's mostly a farming world.
They have nuclear power plants? According to what I'm looking at here, they should have nuclear power plants.
Yeah, they've got some fission power plants.
Yeah. Do they have satellites yet?
Oh yeah.
So they're partial 7.
So
okay, I'm just trying to figure out what we're talking about.
So so a week goes by and you guys get out of Jump and come back to Asim, and really Harrick is figuring that we're kind of in a rush because the logical Lady Hil knew that you guys were going to Asim to get him, so we got to get in, get our shit, get the people, and get out. And so he brings you into his I guess underground kind of a throne room. It's really more of a meeting room. And he pulls out a gold rod. Now, you have seen something that looks like this before. Recently. This looks almost like the key that you were given to open the last vault. And he tells you that his father, so on Drinax, frequently, because Drinax is so hard up for cash, that they frequently gather together shit that, priceless relics from the past and sell them for pennies on the dollar just so that they can buy steel or crystal iron or sometimes food or water. And this was one of the things that his father had. It is a golden rod. Looks like it's mostly gold. It is encrusted with jewels, and it has a small holographic projector on it. And he says, at first they gave his father they gave him a price quote of what they were going to be able to sell it for, and his father said, "Not for that price." And he does a perfect imitation of Olaf. "Not for that price. I'm going to need a lot more booze before I sell it for that much." But he says they ended up keeping it, and scholar Voha actually looked it over and discovered that it does have circuitry in it. Having researched this, they believe that is from a count from the planet Paul. And it is what would be known as a rod of... What did I call this thing? It is a rod of office. And most Sindalian, high-end Sindalian nobles had something similar to this. And they believe that this will allow you to unlock the vault. Whoever has this thing is authorized to unlock the vault. And it's got a little holographic projector on it. And he said they initially looked at it. We thought that, that it was a computer device, and it may have had, plans for something fantastic stored on it. But then we discovered that the memory crystals in it, it couldn't really store a whole bunch of data. So it must be storing just the authorization codes to unlock the vault. He says, now, you're going to have to do some investigative work, because all we know is that it's on Paul. We don't know where on the planet, but I have as much faith in you as my father did. And my father's faith in you was clearly well placed. You have come through every single time, even if my father didn't truly acknowledge it.
Compliments will get you anything.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said compliments will get you anything.
Right?
Does he want to come with us, or does he want to get dropped off at Thieves?
Well, he has his yacht here on Asim, and he's going to load it up with Lady Rax and Lord Rax and some of his Hawk Warriors, and they were going to head to Thief. He says he's going to attempt to. He says, and if you don't mind, I'm going to invoke your name while I'm there, but I am going to attempt to do some negotiations to purchase mercenaries.
Yep. We'll give him the spiel about the murder.
You give her give him a signet or something certifying that he's talking. That you sent him.
Do I have one of those? I really should.
Yeah. Probably not, but the reality is if he shows up and all he's so the thing about the pirate lords of Thieves is that nobody technically usually knows who they are. I mean, you guys had dealt with several of the pirate lords, and at the time that you dealt with them, you didn't know that they were actually a pirate. You had your suspicions, but most of them you didn't even know that they were pirate lords. So if he says, I am here with the blessings of Lord Beth, then that's going to perk up, because how would he know? It's not something that is general knowledge.
we've got a handler that's on our team that we could give him a message to take to, I'm sure, right?
Oh, yeah.
It'll all work out. Yeah.
It's covered.
I thought we had an office there on Thieves.
That's true. You do have an office there. I forget when it was that you were.
The Keith set that shit up.
Yeah,
Should be on his notepad.
What was the office doing? I know it was a front for something.
It was a front for something. I don't recall.
I know. I don't remember what it was that it was supposed to be selling. I don't think it was mercenary services, but it was in that general vicinity. Probably just fencing stuff. Services. Yeah, escort services. Yes.
We can
I remember that.
Yeah. Armed escort services.
Kind of escort, man. We're talking about escorting high-risk cargo in somebody's freighter.
The people that were investigating the girl that was missing were like mostly into that, I think.
That's
I thought it had something to do with that.
Right, yeah. It was like a private investigative company or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have a place to go if they want.
Yeah. So he passes this key over to you, and literally, I mean, they are fast fueling your ship as they speak. So
which one?
The Osiris. Now, I mean, do you? So here's the thing with the Osiris. So I don't know if you want to take the Osiris. You could. It is 600 tons. It has jump 2 as long as it's not carrying a couple of Harriers with it. But it has stealth jump, but it doesn't have the holographic hull. The Harrier does. So
why can't we fly the Harrier and the Osiris as a fleet?
You could.
And use, just kind of come in on the outside of systems and use it as a base, and we can take the stealth Harrier out and about as it was intended,
right,
when it was designed. I don't want to leave it here. I mean,
right.
All shit's about to hit the fan here.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take all of our stuff.
All right. So, who is going to make the astrogation check? Actually, I guess I should bring up this map. So here we go. You are on the scene.
Okay, I'll do the astrogation check.
Okay. Yeah, I've got +2.
I've got the weight report, so I have 2. I'm +2 for Astro.
Everyone's astrogating. My goodness.
Yeah, we're all Astro now.
So I got an 8.
Okay, perfect. And who wants to make a engineering power plus your intellect check?
I believe Gregor has the highest in that.
8.
Perfect. And so who wants to make the engineering J drive plus intellect check? There's no bonus to the roll.
All right, I'll take that. 15.
Nice. With no additional bonus, he still gets a 15. Christ. So, with jump 2, you will be going to Porn, and then from Porn to Paul. And you guys are in jump again, of course, for a week. Both ships are in jump for a week.
I'm back in the armory practicing my new level 1 energy laser with a laser pistol.
That's probably a good idea, yes. So, when you come out of jump at Porn, your sensors, your passive sensors light up. There's a couple of really, really, really big ships in the Porn system. And they are squawking Imperial IFF.
Oh, the Admiral has shown up.
On one of these ships, you have seen these kinds of vessels before. It is a Galoof class mega freighter that is Let's see. Where is the Galoof?
We use the Galoof class mega freighter. Do we want to steal it?
The Reach. Page 48. The Galoof class, I mean, it's so big you can't miss it. And it's coming in at 30,000 tons.
Yeah, we've got to give that shit a wide berth and just not fuck around.
Escorting it.
That's the ship that's bigger.
Yeah, we just need to avoid that shit.
This is the...
We need to tell them that there's a new nuisance that they need to take care of over at Drinax.
It is squawking as the Eurisco. It is a 75,000-ton Planet class heavy cruiser. Now, you have seen one of these before, too. So the Planet class is a part of the Element class cruiser line. The last time you saw one of these was a heavily modified version. It was at the launch for the Deep Night Revelation on Tobiah. This is a much more... Yeah, this is a military ship. This is not converted for research.
No, I mean they're not fucking with us though, right?
No, but they are in system. It is listed as the Eurisco.
Let's just keep a wide berth, fuel and go. You know.
Okay, so
do we need to stop for fuel?
Yeah, so Qingxi, I assume that you're doing the flying. So Porn does have a gas giant. Qingxi, you can make a piloting plus dex check for wilderness refuel.
Well, let's see, 15.
Yeah, no problem. You make it look easy.
53.
Yeah, and the
How did she do that?
The other ship gets a 10, and so they follow in, and you guys kind of take turns doing Overwatch and going in and scooping fuel, and it takes you. You're doing it fairly quickly with those rolls. It only takes you about 2 days, and you're able to fuel up and convert the fuel. We need to make another astrogation plus intellect check.
Ten.
Okay. And then a engineering power plus intellect check.
Let's see. 11.
Nice. And a J drive plus intellect check. With a +2.
+2. So that's
23.
13.
Okay. So you, after 2 days, you are fueled up, and both ships make their jump for Paul.
And I'm back in the armory practicing with my laser pistol.
So while you are in jump, you of course look up a little bit of information about Paul.
Oh, pretty.
So Paul, they are not huge fans of Drinax. I mean, who would be? I mean, they got nuked 200 years ago, and by Drinax, so they're not fans. But it's not like they're not going to not do business with you. Your money Drinax's money spends just as good as anybody else's. And so this is this planet up here is actually Paul, and it is orbiting this. Well, I thought this was supposed to be a star, but I don't know. Anyways, so you come in. Yeah, no, it is. There is a star here, obviously. But anyways, you come in now. The star that is here, it is a little bit larger than, say, like Earth's Sol. Um, so it does burn a little bit hotter, and this is this is the Paul system map. And as you can see, Paul itself is 1.36 AU from the star, and there are three gas giants on the in the inner system, which is unusual. Usually, gas giants sit in the outer system. But anyways, this of course is the planetary map. So most of the seas on Paul are fairly shallow. But there are civilizations usually on the coastlines around, and then the rest of the land in between these civilization centers is pretty arid and desert-like. The entire population of the planet is only 6 million people, so there's a lot of space. Paul has recently had issues with Ihati bands, and between their distrust of Drinax and Ihati Aslan trying to come down, Paul has instituted a law level of 9. All weapons, all armor outside of the spaceport is banned.
Pointy sticks.
Now they do have, well, yes, some pointy sticks are okay. So they do have some concessions made for, like, farmers and things like that. That need like a shotgun for taking care of vermin or things of that nature. But it's heavily regulated. You have to get a license, etc., etc., etc. And so, Paul has a very high, very draconian law level. Now,
could you tell me how much it would cost to get a permit for my 7mm revolver from that strange planet with Sir Who it was we went to?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's only 28 caliber. I mean, it's a tiny little thing.
It is a small revolver. Yeah, you could file a request for a license. The licensing fee is 600 credits.
Can I do that?
And
I send in a request to whoever the.
Okay, so you
does the approach control know who to contact?
So, well, you can just they of course send over the requisite data file, fill it out, send it back to them. It is a 600 credit fee to process the paperwork, and they'll let you know in 6 to 8 weeks.
That's like next time I come back, I might be able to use it.
Right. They'll let you know in 6 to 8 weeks, and the guy at the guy on the docking control says, "Well, you look like you're the honorable sort. I'm sure that it'll be approved." Now, as you are coming in, you are.
I'm a Sir whatever it is. Of course, I'm saying that.
As you are coming in, as you're making your approach to Paul, your comms are getting inundated with a ton of offers, and you are. So here's the other thing about Paul. So Paul is split up into multiple city-states. The starport is considered to be neutral territory between all of the city-states. It has a star town, but it actually has 2 star towns. There is the standard star town around the starport, and then there is Embassy Town. And in Embassy Town, all of these city-states, different kings and dukes and barons and et cetera, et cetera. Some of these nobility titles, they're not all hereditary. Some of them are actually voted in. and take that title for their term. And so Prince such and such of this town was actually elected by the people. He's Prince for 4 years, and then they do a re-election. But you are receiving all sorts of offers, and one of the offers that is coming in is from King Earhart of Auroral Valley. There is an offer from the Paul Merchants Guild, Duke Mayax. There's an offer from the Railway Institute. Now, this is the other thing that the railway, and this is another planet, they love their railways. Paul has an extensive railway system run on nuclear trains. They're nuclear-powered, fission nuclear-powered trains. And they call them grain trains because these things usually pick up farm produce and take it all over. But they also usually haul passenger cars and sometimes other stuff too, but mostly they're called grain trains. And so the Railway Institute's a big institution. In fact, the Railway Institute could be said to have more power than a lot of the individual city-state rulers. And you're getting all sorts of offers wanting to cut deals with you in Embassy Town, trying to entice you. Oh, come on down and we'll buy you dinner and et cetera, et cetera. We'll ply you with drinks. Now, Beth knows, being from ISS, that traders that come to Paul, one of the smart trader captains, try to basically milk these guys for these deals because they'll pay for your docking fees, they'll pay for your restaurant, they'll pay for your hotel, and basically get all this stuff for free, and usually you walk away with a lucrative contract for some kind of trade deal. So it's kind of a surefire thing. She also knows that fancy ships get the better invitations than the crappy junkers that come down. And you guys are basically showing up in... I assume that you're taking the Harrier down to the downport? Is that...
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that should be the plan.
But yeah, our plan was the Osiris stays hidden in the outside of the system as a home base, and we bring the Harrier in.
So yeah, I mean, you guys are coming in a fairly fancy looking commerce raider, a Harrier class commerce raider. So very likely you guys are, I mean, shit, you've already been contacted by a king, you've been contacted by a duke, and they're offering you all sorts of deals.
How many princesses?
No princesses as of yet, but
I mean, kings, princesses, slaves, whatever. I mean, we're trying to find this fucking vault and signs of the vault.
Well, you're going to have to ask around, and I mean, you've got plenty of people that are wanting to wine and dine you for lucrative trade deals. So now here's the other question. Are you squawking the IFF for Drinax? Or are you using a pirate ID?
I don't want to talk about Drinax stuff while we're here.
Yeah. That's right.
Probably a good idea.
We are the independent vessel Osiris.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are classified as an independent vessel. Actually, you're in the Anubis.
Yeah. Independent Anubis.
So flight control tells you you do see that there is a fairly small high port. And flight control basically tells you can just that really the high port is just a warehouse. There are really no services on the high port. You're going to want to land at the down port. And
do they do any transshipment?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Do they do transshipment? They must if they have a warehouse.
They do. They've got shuttles that go from the high port to the down port. But the flight controller tells you, just land at the down port. The high port is... You're going to be very disappointed. And he does tell you there is a planetary system-wide rule that there is no allowance for flyovers over the landscape of Paul. Except for coming in to land at the downport, there's no authorization to land anywhere else on the planet. And they do have missiles, and they have some of them that are armed with nuclear weapons, and they will fire on ships that are doing flyovers.
Oof. We're gonna have to find a different wherever the key goes, I guess.
We may end up taking a week surveying the whole damn planet with our sensors eventually, trying to find this place.
You could. I mean, if you wanted to do an orbit around the planet and take the time to do a planetary survey. I mean, the Anubis isn't the best at it, but I mean, it does have advanced sensors. I mean, it would probably take you about a week.
I don't mind just asking.
Backup plan.
I guess.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Beth?
I said I don't mind just asking around first, right? Seems faster.
Yeah, there's no point in offending people if we don't have to.
Well, so Ching-Shi, go ahead and make a piloting plus dex check.
This is epic. I got snake eyes, so it's 7.
Ooh. Well, you only needed a 6, but you're coming in a little bit rougher than Ching-Shi usually, and this is the world you're coming into. So, Paul, there's a lot of brown on Paul. It's not quite as brown as Asim, but you can tell that it was hit by nukes sometime in the past couple of centuries. And so Ching-Shi brings the Anubis in and is able to set it down at the downport, and when you guys open up the doors to step off, it is a throng of people. There's brightly colored banners. It's like a street fair. I mean, there is just a ton of people here. Where would you like to go first to start looking or to ask questions? So you were contacted by King Earhart. You were contacted by Duke Mayax. You were contacted by the Railway Institute.
Want surveyors and cartographers,
historians,
something like that.
That sounds like the Railway Institute to me.
Yeah, they probably have some of them, but you'd need them to plan railways.
Yeah.
So, as you guys kind of, Railway Institute sounds like a good idea. You kind of start pushing your way through the crowd and, turning to get past people, and you're heading towards Embassy Town. And some guy in a leather jacket comes walking up, and he says, "Can I interest you? You look like good traders. Here's a question: How are you guys dressed? I mean, I assume you're not wearing Sindalian uniforms. So that would be. I mean, probably in your standard spacer, your coveralls, probably, I would imagine. And remember,
I am in a silver lame mini dress with silver boots.
Nice.
And a bouffant a la fake 60s future everything.
Nice.
That's my thing.
I'm in something way less creative than
that. I'm wearing blue jeans and a red flannel shirt.
That works too. So this guy comes up and he clearly he sees that you guys are leaving a docking bay, and says, "Would you care to have a free dinner and discuss a lucrative trade contract?"
I'm always down for some free food. Is there going to be any booze?
Oh, certainly, most certainly.
Oh,
All right.
Yeah, I'm not really interested in a trade deal unless it is included with a full tour of old ancient sites around the planet.
Oh, well, we can probably the representative that will be meeting you for dinner can probably set up some kind of tour for you.
Are you willing to put down a deposit to say that will take place? Our time is kind of valuable.
Well, we're already going to buy you dinner and a couple of drinks.
Right, but like 1,000 credit deposit to show that you really got money to flaunt. I mean, really got the money to be our time for a good deal. What's 1,000 credits, right?
It's called a retainer.
Yeah.
No. That's not how this works.
Oh, shit. Forgive me.
About that time, another guy wearing a shirt and tie and a blazer comes up and shoves the guy in the leather jacket. And he points at him and he says, "We are not going to tolerate your crap anymore." He says, "Don't listen to this man. He's not with... There's no such thing as the Paul Merchants Guild." He says, "I am with the Merchants Guild of Paul. We are the real Merchants Guild. These people are imposters, and they're just trying to get you to come in so that you'll spend some money at their businesses." He goes, "If you go to dinner with this bastard, you're going to be sitting there. Your contact's never going to show up. They're going to stick you with the bill and then assume that you're going to continue to purchase drinks while you're there." And the guy that was originally talking to you in the leather jacket, he turns and he goes, "Well, it's worked so far, and it's not hurting you."
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you said the word free. See, I mean, that means we're not buying crap. You're wanting to do a business deal. We're business people. Yeah. We're definitely going to now demand a deposit of our time, 1,000 credits, just to show that you're worth our time. If not, we're going to continue on.
So the guy in the shirt and tie looks at you and he says, "Well, we, the Merchants Guild of Paul, we have exclusivity deals that we only deal with guild members. That means you get a bigger cut of any trade deal."
Yeah, but you need to hire my retainer fee right now to discuss the deal with Captain Beth. His time is very valuable, and you will not trifle her time with petty shit. If you're not really a baller, perhaps you should not test my cool.
Should I pull my garrote out, Captain?
We don't have any weapons. The law level's 9.
Well, I can hide
That's
the
right.
garrote. I got garrote and a brass knuckles.
Okay, we'll chill it for now. I'm enjoying the entrepreneurial spirit.
The entrepreneurial spirit, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm enjoying the people trying to earn money. They're doing a lot of crazy stuff to earn it. Good for them.
So the merchant, the guy in the shirt and tie says, "Well, if you decide to change your minds and become guild members, you can find us over in Embassy Town, and we'd be happy to set you up with exclusive deals." And he just lets you go.
Sweet.
You continue to weave your way through the crowd, and a pair of very polite and surprisingly non-pushy guys wearing white shirts and black ties come up, and
Let me guess, they're from the Mormon Church.
they look that way, right? They look that way, but they come up to you and they kind of follow along with you, and they say, "Excuse me, would we be able to introduce, or would we be able to impose ourselves to present a business proposal?"
I'm listening.
He says, "Well, you see, we are looking," and he actually pulls out a hand comm or a mobile comm, and a little hologram comes up, and he's got Excel spreadsheets, and he's got flow charts and all sorts of stuff, and he says that It's all really, though, a bit vague, and he says, we're looking for somebody to ship certain machinery, metal stamping equipment, chemical processing machines, and so forth. And he says,
processing machine.
he says, none of it's illegal. It's all perfectly legal machinery available that is legal here to have on Paul. But we need to hire reliable traders in order to bring it to us. So all of you can roll gun combat plus intellect.
Let's see. Let me look up things. Intellect.
I got like 15. I did crazy good. Almost perfect.
I got 10.
I
Okay.
got 14. I got.
I'm gonna suck.
I got. What is it? Cars. Double sixes.
Nice.
Jacob got 14. I got 13.
Okay.
I got a 6.
So Ting's kind of busy looking around. The rest of you, it all dawns on you that these machinery that these two guys are wanting imported to Paul, individually there's no big deal. But you put together metal stamping equipment and chemical processing machines, and it's not hard to tell that what they're looking to do is possibly looks like they're trying to make arms and ammunition.
Oh, I sure would.
Yeah. All right.
So how do we help them out?
He says, well, he says, would you be willing to would you be willing to come to a rally?
Oh, wow.
Oh,
A
shit.
rally.
Well, that sounds interesting. Oh, yes.
And so they
Is this a freedom rally?
well, kind of. He says, well, we're with the Greenwater movement. Now, you guys have heard something about the Greenwater movement before. There are on a number of worlds along in the Drinax chain and some worlds along the Dust Belt that this Greenwater movement has been a part of, and they all follow this individual named Prince Richter Greenwater. And Prince Richter Greenwater claims to be nobody knows what he's a prince of, but he does claim that he has familial links all the way back to the Sindalian Empire, and that he is a legitimate heir to the throne. But it doesn't seem that he is really so much seeking the throne of the Empire. His thing is they are, for lack of a better term, they are an anti-Aslan movement. Not that they are racist, but they are all of the worlds that the Greenwater movement is really popular on are usually close to the Aslan-Harate border, which, I mean, Paul is pretty close. And the other part of that is that they call it the Aslan frontier, and they do not want Aslan Ihati bands coming in, taking over their worlds, taking land, which Ihati, you know very well that's a very common occurrence. They basically are just wanting to put up they want to build a wall. They want to build a goddamn wall is what they want to do. And so these two individuals tell you, why don't you come to a Greenwater rally, and we can get you set up. He goes, if you agree to ship this stuff, we have chapters on many worlds. you could have contacts with all of these chapters, because of course we're going to send out word that you guys are in good with us, and so then you'll have contacts on multiple worlds. You know, that could lead to more trade agreements, or, you know, just a helping hand, because everybody needs help once in a while, and we try to help each other.
Captain, I want you to know of a ship we can attack and take this cargo they want for free.
Yeah, does he know of any archaeological sites or anybody that gives tours of the planet?
He says, "Well, yeah, we have some maps of the area. I'm sure that we can set you up."
If you let us have
historical society.
Would the rest of the crew be cool and willing to try to trade taking these fucking machine parts wherever the fuck he wants, in return for the maps where we can search for the vault?
We have done way worse shit than this. This is not a big deal.
I think we ought to steal this equipment they want and bring it to them. Just rob them shit.
Yeah, so far this is pretty tame compared to some of the stuff.
Yeah, like, you know, maybe even drop it. You know,
shit, this is pretty tame compared to last week.
Yeah. We're not fucked up about transporting your firearm manufacturing equipment and stuff. We don't really give a shit about any of that. We just want to check out the maps.
So when you say
our research,
when you bring up,
you know what current weapon is made from stamped steel.
Well, when you bring up that's what they're doing, he doesn't deny it. He's like, yes, but that is what we're doing. We need that machinery so that we can manufacture weapons, so that we can protect ourselves against the Ihati bands.
Sounds like a wonderful plan, man. You know, it's going to take us a minute to get our ship ready and all that, but in the meantime, you know, hell, you could
help us get in contact with some historians.
So these two kind of lead you over into Embassy Town. And what they are describing as a rally is more of a beer and burgers event. They've got a couple of, grills set up. They're flipping burgers. You guys are welcomed into the crowd. There are people of all manner here. Some are well dressed. Some are look like they are farmers. Some are dressed in shipboard coveralls. There's all manner of people here. And basically, this is just, the short version of their agenda is, we don't want to be overrun by the Aslan. That's their mission statement. So
I think maybe we have an army to take back to Drinax.
So one of the guys that initially met you, he goes over and he talks to he's trying to get you your maps, and so he's talking to this other guy, and everybody roll a recon plus intellect check.
I only got a 5, so I'm clueless.
I got 14. I did great.
Okay.
Got an 11.
I got 13. Jacob got. What's your recon? I think your recon's high because you're a soldier. 2 extra and your intellect. 4, 3, 4, 12.
Okay, so pretty much everybody but Gregor. Gregor's chowing down on a burger, and somebody stuck a beer in his hand, and they're clapping him on the back. The rest of you kind of look around and you realize that it seems like there are really 3 different groups of people that are a part of this movement. There are the 2 that initially introduced themselves to you. They would be a part of the first group that are fairly professional and at least moderately intellectual. These guys know what they're talking about. The second group makes up the large bulk of the people here, and this chapter of the Grihai movement on Paul has about 30 people. And so the second group, They are less professional. Maybe not that bright. I mean, you know, they're lower middle class, not burdened with an overabundance of education. And then the third class is even lower than that. They're basically the grunts. And you know,
they want more burgers.
Yeah, they want more burgers, right? They'll believe whatever you tell them as long as you put a beer in their hand and give them a burger. And so the one of the guys that initially had come up to you, he comes over and he tells you, if you come over here, this gentleman over here actually works for the Railway Institute, and he has geological surveys for you.
I'd definitely like to go do that.
And so this guy just pulls it right up on his mobile comm. And this is a map of the area. And these lines are actually these rail lines for this nuclear powered train that they've got going. And he tells you, he says, what exactly is it that you're really searching for? Can you give me an estimate or a roundabout?
We're looking for old Sindalian artifacts, and we have reason to believe that there are some old forges and structures, and we're really just trying to obtain information. That's all. We're just researchers.
He says, so this down here is the Paul Downport. This is where you're at right now. He says, we do have a rail line that goes up to Parflex Junction. And that is a railway hub. In fact, the town of Parflex Junction only exists for the Railway Institute. But that everybody that lives there, it's like there are a couple of farmers, but for the most part, 90% of the people that live in Parflex Junction work for the railway in some capacity, or they're railway adjacent. He says, how
many tons are they trying to get us to move for them?
They're still kind of crunching the numbers, but and the guy from the Greenwater movement, he tells you, he goes, yeah, we're going to come up with the numbers. In fact, we're not even sure where to, he goes, I'm going to be real honest. We haven't been able to find anybody that can even tell me where we can get those kinds of machines. I would imagine Tech World maybe would be able to sell them to us. I don't know how you guys feel about that, or you guys probably know more than us.
So you need to go to a place where you can buy these machine parts and all that, and that's what you need.
Or we would give you a stipend, and you could go buy them for us.
Sweet.
Well,
Yeah,
man, I mean, we know how to spend money.
So, yeah, you do. So the guy from the Railway Institute, he says, well, he goes, interestingly enough, I do know that just to the northwest of Parflex Junction, he says, right here, there is an old rail spur that splits off, and it goes to the remains of a town called Gormont. He says Gormont hasn't been around for about 200 years. It was a site of he says the local rulers, the Count of Gormont, pissed off the kingdom of Drinax, and they dropped a nuke on his house. Which essentially means the city.
That's the raid. Do we know what the raid is?
Yeah, that means there's a lot of rads.
Well, that happened 200 years ago. And he tells you, he goes, you don't have to really worry about radiation anymore. I mean, you can bop around in most of the ruins unprotected for like a week before you start to notice any, problems. But he says, don't drink the water or eat any of the food. That you don't want to do that. Don't pick berries or anything. But you're fine to be walking around.
Okay.
I appreciate the advice. I like this guy.
But he did.
Yeah.
But he did say, he said that this town was the headquarters for the Count of Gormont. You were told by Prince Harrick that this rod, it seems, came from a count.
Yeah.
Very promising.
How many counts are there on this planet?
How many what?
Counts.
Well, who knows? I mean, a ton, because all of these, so each of these black dots on this rail line, and this is only a small portion, each of those is a different city-state, and those are all ruled by a prince, a count, a baron, a duke, some guy who got elected to be king. So
I assume the green is their territorial limits.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, they all get along. But they are at economic odds. They don't have like open conflict, but they do all compete with one another for viable trade routes and things of that manner, which all happens in Embassy Town here at the Downport.
Can we get a passes and licenses there in the Downport?
For what?
Want permission to fly the Dragonfly to Gormont on a reconnaissance and study mission.
So
I thought we could take a train.
Yeah, you can.
You want to take a train?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
All right, we'll take a train. Yeah, we need to hire a train to take us to Gormont.
Trains again.
Yeah.
In Rome.
So
gonna fall just before we get there. Do I have to be the engineer again?
So the guy from the rail, the guy that's showing you this map, he says, I mean, so tickets for the train are 50 credits each. He says, but he says, little side deal. He says, so the Railway Institute needs a regular supply of components for our nuclear-powered trains. He says, even with shipping costs, he says, it's just easier to bring these in from a high-tech supplier. So if you have somebody that you know, I could just go ahead and waive the ticket fees if you can, maybe have some ships bring us some parts for fission reactors.
Yeah,
Tech
can
World.
have it done. We can have it straight from Tech World or Thieve. Easy enough. These are really simple things.
Several people around you all start laughing. They're like, Thieve? You're joking. Thieve doesn't exist.
I know, I really meant Tech
And
World.
I
It's just a
mentioned, hey,
joke.
do we want to sell these guys solar power technology?
I don't give a shit.
Not my planet.
They got nuking. Yeah.
That's the next tech level up is solar power.
I don't give a shit. I mean, they could go beam them up, Scotty, and I'm fine with it. We'll be gone. We're just trying to get to the vault, and whoever's ass we need to scratch to get that done. Use a cupping motion, get it done.
So, yeah.
Believe me.
So he actually sets you guys up with tickets and puts it on all your mobile comms. You guys sit there and listen to, a couple of, some of the speeches from the Greenhigh movement. There are a couple of speeches. Some of them are fairly professional and almost eloquent. And then there's some that aren't. They sound like they might have been a political speech from Florida. And so, it is what it is. But they're really big on pushing their we don't want to be invaded by Aslan rhetoric, but we don't mean to be we're not violent, we're not racist. It's not that we hate the Aslan, we just don't want to be invaded. And one of the middle group, the less intelligent, he has kind of been overhearing you guys look at this holographic map on your phone, and he says, well, he says, you know, there's been some jihadi problems up in the north. A lot of stuff just north of Parflex Junction. He says, you probably don't want to go up there unarmed because it can be fairly dangerous. He says, but he says, you know, you're friends of the movement now. We can hook you up. We can set you up with some guns.
Wow, we made the best friend we could on this planet.
Well,
okay.
The black market guys are our people. I mean, we should support their devious criminal enterprises.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. What can they offer us?
My so, my laser pistol.
So you guys, you have your train tickets. Of course, the train station is in the Star Town outside the starport. And as you guys walk out of the starport, there are weapon scanners. They are really adamant about scanning people for weaponry.
That's okay. I have basically a plastic garrote and plastic handcuffs.
True. So, yeah, they're not going to care about your brass knuckles and your garrote. They don't care about that. So yeah, you guys, you can see what they were talking about. And outside, just on the other side of the rail station, this guy, him and a couple of friends, pull up in a old pickup, and in the back they got a duffel bag. They open up this duffel bag, and inside,
you should know that I'm wearing my disguise net full body.
Okay.
Right now, it just looks like normal skin with a nice tight jumpsuit, but at the push of a button, I go ninja. If you want to know the reference, I can tell you.
No, that's fine. Hold on
here. And I'm wearing my cowboy hat from our planet we visited. Or what's his name?
So the first thing that is in this bag is a coach pistol. So a coach pistol is essentially a sawed-off shotgun. It has a magazine of 2. So you get 2 shots, then you reload. You get 2 shots, and you reload. I don't know who wants to keep track of this.
I am not good at keeping track of things. Do you want to write down?
I'll keep track of it. So it's a coach pistol.
Yep. There's a coach pistol. There is a shotgun. There is a hunting rifle with a scope.
Ooh.
And a standard revolver. In addition to that, there is a double handful of 28 rounds for the rifle. There are 19 rounds for the revolver. And a partially empty box of shotgun ammunition for both the coach gun and the shotgun, consisting of 15 shells.
All right. Better than nothing.
And these guys are really proud of themselves. They clearly consider that this constitutes weaponry. I mean, you guys probably feel differently about that, but
yeah,
they are proud of themselves.
I can't use any of that shit. So
when's it going to run us?
You what?
Yeah.
I said I can't use any of that stuff. So
what
I'm pacifist.
What did Devin say?
What's it going to run us?
Oh no, they're giving it to you.
Oh, nice.
You're friends of the movement now.
Can we buy some more ammunition?
Nope.
Nowhere to buy it. I mean, you could buy it inside the starport, but then you'd have to go back through the starport, and no.
This is
Yeah.
what we got.
Please give us something to play with if shit goes down.
You
And I
ought to
mean,
get back into the ship
Yeah.
and take the dragonfly. Hell with these people.
Well, if you didn't get shot down, I mean, the gravcopter
You
flies a
fly
lot
past
higher
these
than a
things.
normal than ground vehicles. So remember, no flyby or flyovers, or else you get shot down with a nuke.
yeah, that's why we would have to buy licenses to do that shit. It would cost us
Man,
probably
we just
lot of
taxi the dragonfly on the ground really fast.
Yeah, do low fly.
We fly about 6 inches off the ground. I'm sure
Right?
Shane,
Yeah.
Shane can do that.
So-
Make it look easy.
We will pick up next week with you guys riding the train to Parflex Junction, and continuing on your journey to the nuked out town of Gormont.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
All right. I will see you guys next week at 7 o'clock on Wednesday night.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Have a good
All right,
night, guys.
have a great night.
We got to try me Friday night.
Yes, as far as I know, we are a go for Friday night. I haven't heard anything
Yeah.
from anybody else. I'm crossing my fingers. I'd like to get you guys underway into the main part of the actual meat and potatoes of the mission.
I agree.
Okay, I've been playing with the survival still while we're transferring.
That's a good idea.
I'm playing with the experimental shield, and I put enough of that sour fruit in it to make some glop and have it. And we're going to do some chemical analysis and have the biologist
Right.
take some samples with yeast and bacteria and see if it kills any of them.
Not a bad idea. All right. Okay. Well, I will see you and Wes on Friday night.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Have a good night.